All right.
All right.
Let's start like these 40 minutes strong. Okay.
Let's do it.
So, everyone's talking about it.
Everyone?
Well, everyone in my head. All of my personalities are talking about it.
Oh.
Okay. Seedlings comes out very soon.
Yes.
Like this weekend soon.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Okay, so first question. Why is it called Seedlings?
Oh, good question. That actually comes from a lyric in the last song on the album called Dodging and Turning. And to kind of give it some context, that song is the last song on the album, and it's the only one that's kind of acoustic-y and kind of has a different sound from the rest of our songs on the album. And the meaning behind it is almost like my experience of coming of age while also having sort of dystopian feelings about the world.
Okay.
And not feeling a lot of no but not feeling very optimistic about the future. Just feeling a lot of a lack of hope. And there's a lyric in the second verse, or maybe it's the first, I can't remember, that says, "We were once rootless, like seedlings were reaching, but repotted in new towns while searching for empty faces that greet you just like sword in the stone, while the news you're breaking feels like the moss overgrown," which leads into, I guess, the first chorus. And that song was kind of a mix of actual feelings and experiences that I had, especially in my first couple years of college, not really knowing what I was going to do after or during, really. And also a mix of kind of as much imagery that I could try to capture that reflects the lack of hope that I have for the future, unfortunately.
Well, open Pandora's box there. So it is definitely like the lyrics you just like told us. It is definitely like, it feels more poetic than a lot of your songs. Not that like your songs are not poetic, but it's just like the band Silohuette songs are not poetic, but it's just I think I remember you guys playing it in Opfest.
We did. We played it at Opfest. Yep.
Opfest 4 a couple weeks ago.
That was the first time we played it live.
Yeah, it was really good, but it was just like a different tone.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was kind of it felt like a renaissance, I guess. Just going from Runaway and Good People and just kind of shifting into this like very raw, very like emotional song.
Right, absolutely. That's kind of why we felt like it was perfect as the final song on the album, as a sort of going away, ship sails away, kind of sound. And the Seedlings, I had the epiphany that it was also very endemic of who we are as a band. I kind of felt like it was a perfect first album title because we are kind of like little tree babies in the sense of the world, and one day we'll be a tall oak tree or something. Hopefully.
Oak tree. Do you feel like you're barely just starting? Like, do you feel because you mentioned kind of like this feeling of hopelessness. I'm sorry, I'm going all therapist on you, but I'm not trying to psychoanalyze the music, but it's just it's very interesting to me to kind of predict what's going to happen next with the band. Silohuette is just because like again, like it's a very first album, and it opens a lot of doors, and I just think it's very interesting. Where do you think you guys will be like in a couple of years post album?
I mean, I'm hoping that we will be working on more music, because you kind of had a question earlier that like, do you feel like there's a lot left, or was that your question? I feel like yes, and I feel like we have so much more music to write, but it's also fun because I also feel like we've been playing these songs on the album for a really long time, because some of these are new that we've only played live once or a couple times, and then others we've been playing for 2 years. So it feels like we've grown a lot with these songs, but we also feel like we have a lot left as a band. We have so much more music inside of all of us. We have so many ideas that we can't wait to explore.
Yeah.
Because we have never been in the mode as a band of, all right, time to write an album. Because when we were writing all this music, especially the first couple ones, I definitely wasn't thinking like, we're writing an album. I was just thinking, we're a new band, we need to write some songs. And then once we had like 5 or 6, we were like, okay, so how are we going to release this? And that's kind of how it came about. I don't know if that answered the question. But
No, it definitely, it's just like so exciting to, because I know like some DIY, Auburn DIY people have released music, but I think this is like the first I have like lived and looked forward to. So is there a reason why Natalie, Good People, Free Fall, those were all Runaway, those were all singles?
Yeah, that's a good question. We felt like Runaway was a good first single, because as soon as we played that one, it felt different than all the others. It felt like it had a different energy, and the others we felt confident in, but not like, this is your lead single.
Yeah.
And then Natalie after it was kind of a shot in the dark, because we felt like maybe we could do a slower one, since we show that we can do something that's upbeat, and then after that something that's a little softer.
Yeah.
And then the other two have kind of been, high energy as well. And we just kind of felt like those 4 that we picked were good single choices, but then also we have other songs that people that come to our shows know that you can kind of build up suspense for the album when that drops. So that's kind of why like we never release Spanish Summer Rain as a single or anything. Just building up suspense.
So it's like, oh my god, like I'm not to be biased, okay? This is completely, it is not completely objective, but take that as you will. Like the band Silohuette is like one of my favorite bands from Auburn. Yeah, of course. It's just like, it feels like it's very solid, and kind of you guys have like a different feel for, I guess I can just tell like you guys are going places. And it's just
That's so nice.
Yeah, it's just Spanish Submarine is like my favorite song, like ever.
Thank you so much.
It's not obvious at all. It's not obvious whatsoever. Like I can tell you're pretty surprised by that take, but
that was always super fun to play.
So what's your favorite song from the album?
From the album, honestly, it kind of changes day by day, but overall my favorite, as far as recordings go, favorite to listen to, funnily enough, is actually Natalie. I just love the I think the chords in that one are the reason why I like that one so much. And as far as favorite to play live, either Runaway or Spanish, those are always get a ton of energy.
Yeah.
But as far as just listening to, I'd say either Natalie or maybe Spanish Summer Rain after that. So yeah.
What is Natalie about?
That's a good question. So that was about a real experience.
Yeah.
We were playing at at an event, a private event for Auburn, that was kind of like a party for an organization on campus. And there was a girl who shouted her name, and she was like, "My name's Natalie." And one of our band members, who shall not be named, was like, "All right, let's make this happen after the show."
Yes. It did not happen, did it?
Well, you know how the song goes.
Pain.
So yeah, true story. Not me, but
yeah. That is kind of funny though. Like, just why would? Okay. Anyways, Natalie, if you're watching, you have a song. So tell us about the band. You've talked like a little bit about Brennan and Dylan. What's everyone like? just from James Berryhill's perspective?
It's a ton of balancing each other out. I'd say that's kind of the dynamic of our band in pretty much every way. I am a little more high-strung, kind of tend to get anxious about things, and Brenner is like the polar opposite. He is like, it's gonna be fine. Like that could be his catchphrase, or I'm not worried about it. That could be his catchphrase, and we really balance each other out that way. And that balance and kind of yin and yang aspect is also reflective in our influences in our music, because I kind of approached Silohuette, or I approached music before Silohuette as kind of almost like singer-songwritery, and I wrote a lot of folky sort of stuff, and then I heard Jackson Chambers play at Auburn, and I was like, never mind, let's do a band. They're way too good. Then Brenner and Dylan have much heavier influence. Brenner grew up in a punk band that played in Birmingham and Atlanta and stuff, and Dylan is super influenced. His favorite band is Tool.
So that is interesting.
Yeah, we have all kinds of different influences. Brenner mostly listens to hardcore music. Will pretty much only listens to like instrumental jazz and funk. And then I'm like stereotypical just John Mayer fanboy and super basic. And,
heck yeah.
So it kind of just, it all pieces together in that way, with a lot of balancing each other out.
Do you play John Mayer in your Ford F-150?
I do, unfortunately, yeah. So, like, on the outside, you're thinking, like, oh, truck guy, he must be blasting some Morgan Wallen. Nope. Yeah. Your body's a wonderland, baby.
Like, yay! Have you ever seen him in concert? How was it?
Oh, yeah, I've seen John Mayer twice. He was really, really great. I saw him in Atlanta at, like, Lakewood, I think that's the name. And then State Farm Arena. He was great.
That is really cool. I'm not familiar with John Mayer at all. I'm more of like a modern baseball, like cartoon headrest.
Yeah.
Kind of gal.
Yeah.
But
my best friend loves modern baseball.
Yes. Yeah. But okay, so we've heard about the band and how like you guys all balance each other out. Do you have any funny stories that you would like to share with us?
Yeah, we have so Brenner is kind of a wild spirit in a way. That's kind of that yin and yang that I was talking about with him and I. I'm much more like, a little more restrained, held back, and he's like, it's gonna be fine. So I
wouldn't have pegged you guys for that.
You would have, or wouldn't?
No, I wouldn't have. Like I thought it was just like the other way around. But anyways,
really?
Continue. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's funny. So we had a show up in Huntsville in I think October of last year, and when we were driving from his parents' house where we were rehearsing back to his house, we got stopped behind a train. So he proceeds to get out of the car and starts talking to me on the street, and then Dylan gets out of his car, and then the train leaves, and for a solid minute they're just like holding up traffic, and I actually happen to catch that on video too, which you can see on our TikTok.
Oh my god, that's actually hilarious. Paste the TikTok right here or whatever, but that's actually really funny. But so you guys have been in a band for 3 years?
Yeah, about more like two years.
2 years.
Yeah.
2 years. How do you think you guys have like evolved?
Well,
do you write the songs, or
it's super collaborative? So there are some songs that have shown up where it's just an idea, and it's like, I've got these couple chords, and then we all get in a room together, and then we hash it out, and then out comes the song. Yeah. And then others that I've had more of like a verse and a chorus, and then you bring that, and they're like, oh, that has something, that has some potential. There are others that, like Brenner has shown up with, like Good People, for example. That's the single that he sings. Yeah. That showed up almost completely finished. Yeah. And he was like, I feel like it needs a bridge. And I was like, what if we said, I'm fine? And he was like, that's it. And then others that I've kind of done a similar thing that Brenna did with Good People, like Dodging and Turning, for example. That was one that I took forever to just kind of put together. This is the only song that we've played live like once, and there was almost some like back and forth, like not tension, but like we weren't sure if we were actually going to release that one, and I felt like I had to really fight for as much good as I could out of that song, because some songs are like, yeah, that's a Silhouette song immediately, or we're going to play that one, and then others it's like maybe. So it's really, the writing material has been super collaborative, and then also sometimes Brenner or I go more on our own and then show it to the band. So it's kind of a variety of things.
Have you ever like showed up to band practice like, oh, I have this idea, and Brenner's like, it sucks. No, you don't have an idea, leave.
It's never been like, dude, no. But then there have definitely been times where I'm like, oh yeah, so I'm thinking maybe like, I was thinking about this for like Natalie, and then he's been like, I have straight no idea what song you're talking about. So that's happened too a lot, where it's like we just kind of forget that songs are in the vault. But no, we're pretty open to each other.
Yeah.
And I think whenever you show music to people, there's like some vulnerability there.
Definitely.
And we're all sensitive to that we're never going to be like, that sucks. We all try to take care of each other and make sure we don't.
You're actually terrible. Become an accountant. So tell us about your early, like, just James Berryhill music.
Yeah. Did I
hear you released a single?
No, I never ended up releasing. I ended up recording some things that never ended up getting released. And before Silhouette, I wrote a lot of more acoustics, folky, singer-songwriter style music. And that was kind of reflective of when I first started playing the guitar. That was like the peak of when like Mumford and Sons and the Lumineers and that like stomp holler genre was super poppin'. So that was reflective in a lot of my early music, and I picked up the banjo for that reason. And it was just a lot less, nothing with the heavier edge that you hear in Silhouette, like songs on Free Fall or Good People a little bit. And it was definitely more soft.
Are we ever gonna listen to a banjo? Or we get a banjo in the band Silhouette?
Oh yeah, I would love to have some banjo on Silhouette. At some point, because I definitely want to scratch the itch of all kinds of genres that I'm interested in the band, and they're like, okay, but it's got to work, it's gotta it can't be like to this or that. It's gotta feel right. It's gotta feel like it's good work for the song.
So this has been in the back of my mind like lately. Why Silhouette?
Why that band name?
Why that band name?
It's funny, we had no idea what we were going to call the band at first. I think that's how most people feel when they start a band. They're like, what are we going to call it? Yeah. So we threw around different names. I think we had a variety of ones that we were like, oh, that's terrible, but it might work. Yeah. And I was humming a Gregory Alan Isaacoff tune. I don't know if y'all are familiar with his music. I was humming Amsterdam, and I think he says the word Silhouette in there while we were like packing up, and I was like, what was Silhouette? And they were like, what? I was like, what about Silhouette as the band name? And they were like, okay. That works.
I mean, it works for the first flyer, doesn't it?
Sure does.
So if you, like, hypothetical situation, if like the band Silhouette, where's wood? I need wood. If plywood. If the band Silhouette had never happened, where would you be? Like,
that's a good question.
Still singer-songwriter, so?
Yeah, I would definitely be making music, but I don't know if I would be as all in as I am right now on music. I think I was more content with doing just a normal sort of career path. And less up and down like music is. Yeah. I was content with just doing something normal and then having music on the side. And then I think it took Silhouette and how special this group of guys makes me feel I think it took that to make me go all in with music, and it's hard to say what I'd be doing without it, but probably wouldn't be as full-fledged.
It sounds like you like really have a bond with the band. It sounds really special.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So you're a music major, right?
I was a music major. I did. I have a weird degree. I started out as a poli-sci major, and then I switched to English, and then I switched to a different kind of English, and then I added music as like a double major. But yeah, I ended up graduating last year with English and music.
That's really cool. I didn't know you've graduated.
Yeah, I graduated last year.
Makes me feel like a baby. Okay. Are you ready for some silly questions?
I'm ready for silly questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kiss, marry, kill. Okay.
Kiss, marry, kill. Okay.
Lemon ginger tea.
Okay.
Weagle. WEGL.
Yeah.
Or Jim Morrison from The Doors.
Okay. Definitely. Was the first one lemon ginger tea?
Yes. If you killed lemon ginger tea, you're like it won't exist ever again.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I'm just permanently deleting.
Yes, permanently deleting lemon ginger tea.
And here's the tricky part. Jim Morrison already dead.
Already dead, but also if you kill Jim Morrison, like his discography like gone.
Oh,
The Doors won't
tricky.
exist.
Oh man.
No
Light My Fire.
No Light My Fire.
I gotta
no
kill
Break
people's
Conqueror.
love for tea, people's love for college radio, or people's love for groovy music. But yeah, that's not.
It feels like you're really taking this responsibility as part of, you know.
I think I'm gonna probably kill the tea.
Okay.
Unfortunately. And I guess I'll marry the music of The Doors and Jim Morrison, and I'll give Weagle a big old smooch.
Perfect.
It's for you.
Okay. If you had to dye your hair, full head, what would it be? What color would it be?
Ooh.
Would you go like Liberty Spikes?
I'm so boring. I would just do like brown, but I'm gonna give you a better answer.
Yeah, no, give me a better answer. That's
I can't
unacceptable.
tell you brown. I would probably go with like a dark green, and then go like full wizard. You know.
Oh, have you ever played D&D?
I started a campaign once.
Wow.
But didn't go anywhere, unfortunately, which was a real shame because I felt really proud of my character.
Yeah. Oh, what was your character?
So I was a satyr.
And
I was either identical to or just had an incredible strong resemblance to Michael Cera.
Okay.
So I'm Michael Cera Satyr.
Yes.
And I was raised by a gang of satyr fraternity dudes. So they like found me in a basket in the river, kind of like whichever biblical character that was.
Yeah.
And baby satyr, and my character was completely dejected by the fraternity bros, but also
Michael Cera
also raised by them, so like still has that sort of like don't hurt me Michael Cera vibe, but was also raised by a full group of satyr fraternity guys.
When did you decide like because you mentioned having like a bunch of different majors, when did you decide music was like, okay, let's do this? Was it was it Silohuette? Or is it like a moment in time?
I think it was a moment in time, because every time throughout college that I told myself that I was maybe going to do this career path or that career path, I kind of felt like I was lying to myself a little bit, and I always knew in the back of my head I was just going to do music one way or another. And I was getting pretty serious about maybe wanting to pursue higher ed in English studies, because it felt like once you got the professorship and all that it's like pretty good work-life balance. But like on the way there, it's like totally not. It's like very hard, so it demands like all of your attention. And I remember, I think I was at a concert. I was seeing Brook and the Bluff at
they're good.
They're great. I was seeing them at Avondale in Birmingham, and I just remember thinking like, man, this is so cool. This is so much cooler than studying English. I want to do this instead.
No shade to English majors out there. You
know,
know.
I was one of you. No shade. No shade to any major.
I don't know. Maybe a little shade to like
Math majors.
Math majors.
Sorry, Trey.
Math majors?
Just kidding.
Thumbs down. No, I'm not kidding. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so you saw Brook in the Bluff.
Yeah.
Music is the thing I want to do. Started writing music. And is there a place where you were like, this is my place to write music? Is there like a state of mind that you were like, a favorite kind of like space? Is it
Do you
with
mean
a
like
band?
a physical space or
It can be
like
a physical
a
space.
headspace?
It can be a headspace. I feel like you're the more like spiritual like headspace kind of guy, but it can be a physical space. It can be with sandwich upstairs.
Oh yeah, anytime sandwiches around my cat.
Yeah.
Credo juices are flowing.
Sandwich is a cat.
Yeah, he's upstairs. He was gonna be in the video, but he kept messing with the cords.
Bad sandwich.
But I think anytime that I feel not distracted by the outside world or technology in any way,
yeah,
and I kind of just feel like I'm losing sense of time and just kind of getting lost in an idea, that is, I would say, I don't want to speak for anyone, but most writers or creators' favorite place to be is kind of lost in the potential of something cool that you either write or create.
Yeah.
I guess that's my ideal space,
Yeah.
headspace.
This is really cool. Do you write, like when you wrote your own songs, do you write like all of the songs in one go, or do you come up with ideas and then like piece them together?
I think it really depends on the song. It's some of them can be like that, and a lot of times those are the most rewarding because they just come out like that.
Yeah.
Job and Heels, one that we play on the new album, it was like that for me. I just wrote it in 45 minutes, and that was so rewarding because
Yes.
most of the time it doesn't work out like that.
Yeah.
For me, at least. There's a lot of second guessing and like not feeling confident or not sure if this is going to work. Like anxiety that like, I hope I don't screw this up. Because I feel confident about this part of the song, but oh no, what if I don't write a verse that's good enough? So you wish it was every single time it just comes out, but for me at least, there's a lot more labor that goes into it.
Yeah. Do you have like a favorite place that you guys played at, or like a favorite show?
Oh, my favorite show. Fest is always so much fun.
It is really fun.
It is always so cool because it really feels like people yearn for community. I think, especially in the internet age, that you just feel special to be one of those people that has a community of people. So Fest is always a lot of fun for me, and I think the rest of the band. Outside of that, we've played some really fun shows in Huntsville, and they did one event called Originally Huntsville, and it was all featuring Huntsville-based bands, which we were a little bit because Brenner lives there, and we were playing with Dave Anderson Project and Them Damn Dogs, who are local legends in the Huntsville area, and that I just remember that being such a receptive and inviting and mature audience that was just so great. So probably those two stick in my mind: the Originally Huntsville shows and the Oddfest shows.
Yeah. Do you think the Oddfest shows are gonna like keep going?
I hope so. I know that Ashley has been the lead idea person on making it all happen over the past 4 shows, and I hope that someone steps up to the plate after she graduates and continues it, because she has just done such a wonderful job. I hope that it continues. So.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's definitely like something that like people look forward to every semester, and it's just like kind of I mean, sometimes it's just like the sometimes it's in the middle of the semester, sometimes it's at the end, but it always feels like kind of like everything revolves around it somehow.
Yeah, especially if like if you go to Auburn, you're in the DIY scene, you just like to go to it. I think that's totally true. It revolves around.
Did you used to go to a lot of concerts when you were little?
I didn't start going to concerts till I was like 12, but after that, it seemed like I went to as many as I could. It was like a drug you get hooked on, you know.
Yes.
And I've lost count of how many concerts. I think a lot of people are that way.
Yeah. I mean, it's like well, I don't know why, but like I've also been to a lot of concerts, and it's just like the more concerts you go to, like the better your experience is, but also like less memorable it is. I don't know why. It just like I get the feeling that like there's this one moment that I'm gonna remember, and then I'm gonna like leave and then forget the entire thing.
And it almost makes the shows that are really special even more special,
Yeah.
because I saw Julian Lodge, who's a brilliant jazz guitarist, a couple of weeks ago, and I just remember being so excited to see him because I think, like you said, if you've been to a lot of shows, it makes it a little less special every show you go to just because you've been to so many. But then when you see someone for the first time, that's even more special. Like Julian Lodge was like that for me. This indie folk duo called The Other Favorites was like that for me. You know them?
Yes.
Oh my god, I'm obsessed with Joshua Lee Turner and Carson. Oh my gosh, I love them.
Do you listen to a lot of jazz? What's your Spotify Wrapped? What was your Spotify Wrapped?
Last year it was a mix of, I think my top artist was Brook and the Bluff, and
Solid.
Mixed in there was a lot of Beatles, Paul McCartney, and jazz, Julian Lodge, and various other jazz stuff like that. A lot of Jason Isbell too. Jason Isbell in the 400 unit, love him.
Jazz stuff, like it's hard, but it's also like super obvious, like in the Silohuette music, just like kind of like those jazz influences. It feels like it's very it's like when you cook something with wine and it doesn't taste like wine, but like you feel it, you know.
I love that analogy. Absolutely. Like vodka pasta.
Vodka pasta. Vodka pasta goes hard.
It's so good. Oh my gosh. My fiance and I made it with raviolis instead of just like normal noodles. It was insane.
What were the raviolis filled with? Stuff like
I think it was just cheese. Just
wow.
raviolis. It was awesome.
I love ravioli cheese. Yeah. Olivia?
Yeah, my
Olivia.
fiance Olivia.
If you're watching,
Love you.
please teach me because I need ravioli in my life again. So tell me, you didn't go to a lot of concerts when you were little, up until recently. What were you like when you were
I was
younger?
a kid?
Yeah, middle school age. Middle school James Berryhill.
Middle school me was probably insufferable. It was probably the worst. I was, as a kid, I think from the time I was a baby, I was super obsessive over anything. So whatever movie or TV show or book series I was into as a kid, that was my whole personality. So I think once I picked up the guitar, that became my whole personality, and it hasn't really stopped since.
I mean that's fair, you know. Like I kind of envy people that like their instruments a whole personality, because it's just like you're really really good at it, and like for the rest of us mortals, it kind of feels like Swiss Army knives, if you know what I mean. like it's not dull, but it's also like I could be like really really good at something.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's also tough too, because I think anyone who has an obsession with any particular thing and they want to make it their means of living too, it can also be like, man, this was how I relaxed and like got away from the world, but now it's like my whole world. So it can also be tricky to create those, boundaries between work and music and whatnot. So it's a double-edged sword in a way too.
Yeah. Is that what you feel like kind of uncertain about the future? Like
yeah.
your whole, like all of your eggs are in one basket. What if the basket drops?
Oh yeah. Ton of anxiety there. I mean, just with anyone who I think is fortunate enough to make it work where you can focus on like your passion, whatever that be. And I'm lucky enough to where I can teach guitar and piano and banjo, and just do Silohuette and make it work. I think there's total anxiety there that this could all end like that for this reason or that reason. So yeah, there's totally that there, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's just the beauty of artistry, but like I guess that uncertainty kind of like feeds into like music and like whatever creativity like we're honing. But I mean, I think we'll be alright.
I hope so.
Yeah. So you mentioned Brenner.
Yeah.
guitar and vocals.
Yes.
Correct. He lives in Huntsville.
Yep.
Is the band like pretty spread out around Alabama?
It is right now. It's Will and I still holding it down in Auburn. He's finishing up his engineering degree. I'm still working here at Spicer's, and Dylan lives up in Birmingham, and Brenner lives up in Huntsville. But we're planning on relocating to Huntsville hopefully this year. So Rocket City, the boys are coming.
Yeah, like I feel like it's kind of hard to like schedule times for practice, and like I don't know. I've never like experienced having like collaborative projects with people who are not where I live.
It makes it very difficult.
Yeah,
it does. And we're lucky with starting in COVID because we couldn't play anywhere yet. So all we could do was rehearse.
Yeah.
And we kind of rehearsed so much at first for just 6 months straight. We didn't play any gigs, any shows, anything like that. No house shows, just rehearsed. And we were able to develop a chemistry enough to where once Brenner and Dylan moved and graduated, that we really didn't need to rehearse as much. And as we felt confident that as long as we learn our parts and, try to be on your own A game as much as possible, you don't have to worry about the other guys as much. So I think we just trust in each other that we can all make it work, because we've rehearsed maybe twice in the past year.
In the past year?
Yeah.
That is insane. So like what we see on stage is like just already like attuned to like your band.
Pretty much. We rehearsed before Obfest, and I think we rehearsed one time in the summer, but with just us being so spread out apart, if we're not either recording or gigging, when you live 3.5 hours away, it just makes it hard, So we're super excited to be all living together.
Yeah, that is really exciting. Are you gonna keep frequenting Auburn?
Oh, we hope so. We hope we can still have some relevance as we, as more new faces and new students come into Auburn, that we can continue to play here and have a spot as we, move away and move to.
What do you think about like the new people? What do you think about Gen Alpha?
Gen Alpha?
Yeah.
I teach a lot of them at my work.
Do they actually not know how to read?
Oh man, I hope it's not true. I found all my students are great. Great at reading music and tab and all that. So, but I know it's I feel like being a teacher is harder than ever, like a school teacher, because with COVID and hyper onlineness, it's tricky out there. But
okay, I don't know if you guys know, but James here drives a blue Ford F-150.
Oh, you're gonna dox me like that? Okay.
Yes. So going on to that theme, if you were a sorority girl, what kind of water bottle would you have? Would you have a Stanley? Would you have an Owala?
Totally Stanley. You kidding?
Totally Stanley?
Yeah.
Oh, really? The big.
Yeah, if I were a girl, I would be as I don't want to say basics. That sounds so mean. Like, I feel like it's such a pejorative term, but like I would I feel like I would try to keep up with the trends,
Yeah. So obviously, like, guitars are very important to you. Is what you like out of all the instruments you play, are guitars like your main source of musicality, or is it banjo or
For sure.
piano?
Yeah, I teach guitar, piano, and banjo. But I mean, these days when I'm playing for myself or writing, it's always on the guitar. Although I really want to get better at piano, because I envy people who can do multiple instruments.
Nick Oakley, we're looking at you.
Yeah, Nick Oakley, give me lessons, please.
Please.
But yeah, I would love to get better at the piano, be able to write some music for Silohuette on the piano. Would be great one day if I get my chops down.
What's up with your guitar though? It looks like it's been through like 2 world wars, and it's just like crippling.
It has, yeah. He's had a long life. No, so that was built by my father-in-law.
Really?
His name is Chuck Hand, so it's a hand-built guitar. It's got a little hand on there, and it is made to look like kind of like late 60s Fender Stratocaster.
It does look like that.
With the relicking, almost like people buy distressed jeans, people buy distressed guitars too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That is really cool. I didn't know that it was like actually. Well, I guess all guitars are built.
Yeah.
But no, they just like spawn in there from the ground up.
I wish that would be so cool.
That would be very cool.
Yeah.
Kind of like our version of money doesn't grow on trees.
Guitars could one day.
Guitars could. Guitars could. Let's make it happen.
Guitar trees.
Oh, math major. Can we make it happen? I don't know.
What do you think?
Not sure.
Not sure.
That's not my department.
Can you crunch the numbers?
Can you crunch the numbers? Should we should get like the agriculture guys like over here.
Yeah.
And be like,
Crunch
make
numbers.
it happen, please.
Crunch some seeds.
Seedlings.
Guitar seedlings.
Guitar seedlings. Okay. What's your second favorite amphibian?
My second favorite. What?
Second favorite amphibian.
Oh, amphibian.
Yes.
Oh, that's such a great question.
Mm-hmm.
I think toad is my second favorite.
Toad.
Yeah. Are those amphibians?
Yeah, I think that's an amphibian, but
Yeah.
also like it's kind of like an icky amphibian, in my
Icky?
opinion. Icky.
Yeah, so they're not my number one.
What's your number one?
I thought you weren't gonna ask me that. Probably the frog.
Probably no. That's like the same vibe.
I don't know enough amphibians.
Okay,
What
there's
are other amphibians
I think
besides frogs? And
there's salamanders.
okay,
There's
those are good.
and that's all I have.
Yeah, I
What,
maybe
do
I
you-
would
do you
put
know
salamander
what
at 1 or 2, but I kind of didn't know. I kind of forgot that they were amphibians. so.
Wow, that's kind of sad.
know.
I know. Are
It's a
snakes?
Lombards
Snakes are
major
not
and things
amphibians.
like that.
Are turtles
No, those
amphibians?
are reptiles. Oh, turtles? I think they're reptiles too. Is that right? Math major?
That's
me
not
too.
my department.
Let's go back to talking about siblings.
Okay.
Do you have any plans to like go on tour and promote the album?
We
Or-
definitely would love to go on tour at some point.
Yeah.
We don't have anything in the works as of yet, but we're gonna try to get as many shows as we can during summertime.
Yeah.
But we totally talked about we would love to tour at some point. We've looked at like Indie on the Go, or is it Indie on the Move or Indie on the Go? So they're like a touring, like you can pay them and they'll help make a tour happen.
Oh.
We've thought about things like that, or maybe when the album comes out, maybe reaching out to some booking agencies, try to. But it's really it's booking is so hard on your own.
Yes.
It's a skill in and of itself, and like making those connections with people is.
Yeah.
It's
I've
hard to
heard.
do.
Are you familiar with the review?
The
It's-
band.
Yeah, the band.
Yeah, they played at the first Hop Fest.
Yeah. They're like very talented at that. I don't know how they do it, but it's
Oh,
just
yeah,
like
they
they do their own booking, and I'm like.
Yeah.
But anyways, so during the release of Seedlings, out tonight as of recording this, have you been writing music on top of like
Yeah.
producing?
On top of
Like
yeah,
have
we've
you-
definitely been working
yeah.
on new tunes, and
That's exciting.
it's a lot of fun because everyone worries about the sophomore slump or whatever. And, no one wants that to happen. So I think there's some pressure to make sure that you feel confident in your first release and you want to make the second one just as good. So I'm definitely trying to come up with as much stuff as I can, because I think the way that you write good music is you write as much as you can, and eventually something's going to be good.
Period. So what's up with the frisbees?
Ooh, the frisbees.
Yeah, why?
They're
Why frisbees?
because who has what band has frisbee merch?
That is true. That is true. For those of you who don't know, the band Silohuette has frisbee merch, like actual like frisbees.
And we're trying to do merch that's as like silly as possible.
Yes,
like,
I think you accomplished that. I think that's
mouse
very
pads, lighters, balloons.
Lighters
We're
would go
trying-
hard.
Yeah.
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 I feel like how like when people used to, instead of flashlights, you used to like do the lighter
Yeah.
at concerts, and like I feel like that would be a good bit.
For real.
Oh wait! I do want you to explain this. Okay.
Okay.
I saw your Bandcamp. What does blacking out in the booth since 21 mean?
I think that was a PD USA reference, the TikToker.
Yeah.
Brenner and I love to send each other TikToks, and I think one of his skits was just, I think he was making like a kitchen or something, and he was
something silly happened, and he was like, sorry, I was blacking out in the booth. And Brenner and I thought that was the funniest thing. So
Wow.
now we're blacking out in the booth anytime there's a show, blacking out in the booth. You're recording, blacking out in the booth. You're driving to work, blacking out. Don't black out. But
Don't black him in the booth. With that, very important advice from James Berryhill. I've been Sam,
I've been James.
and bye.
Bye.